The ocean was calm that morning, to calm. A silver aircraft moved across the endless Pacific, alone, small, fragile against infinity. Inside it, a woman held the controls tightly, her eyes fixed on a horizon that refused to reveal its secrets. Her voice crackled through the radio, broken, fading, then nothing. No crash, no wreckage, no goodbye, just silence. The world would soon realize that this was not just a missing plane. It was the disappearance of a legend. A woman who challenged the sky, defied gravity, and dared to go where no one else would. Search planes would scan thousands of miles of ocean. Ships would chase shadows on the waves. Decades would pass, clues would surface and vanish again. Some say she sank into the deep. Some say she survived on a forgotten island. Others whisper of secrets the world was never meant to know. But one question still haunts history. What really happened to Amelia Earhart? This is not just a story of flight. This is a story of courage, mystery, and a woman who vanished into the sky and was never seen again. The Electra sliced through the morning mist, engines humming with steady determination, as Amelia Earhart peered out at the endless expanse of the Pacific. The ocean stretched like an infinite sheet of glass, pale blue under the early sun, deceptive in its calm. Fred Noonan sat beside her, eyes locked on the instruments, fingers tracing charts and dials with meticulous precision. Neither spoke much. Words would only break the rhythm of concentration, the fragile harmony that kept them alive. Hours passed. The sun climbed higher, shimmering off the waves, turning the horizon into a line that seemed to stretch forever. Amelia could feel the subtle shudder of the plane as wind currents shifted unexpectedly. Her stomach tightened with every gust, every turbulence, every wave of the unseen sea below. A bead of sweat ran down her temple. How far to Howland? She asked softly, though her voice betrayed nothing of the tension within. Fred's voice was calm, but there was a shadow of worrying in his eyes. Several hundred miles, but the winds are shifting. Keep your eyes on the horizon. The sky, once a playground, now felt like a cage. Clouds swirled above them, darkening, curling, foreshadowing the storms that might come. Every shadow on the water seemed alive, hiding rocks, reefs, or worse. The radio crackled faintly, static and whispers of hope carrying across the waves. We are on line north and south. Cannot see the island. Fuel running low. Amelia spoke into the microphone, each word precise, calm, yet heavy with the weight of reality. Below them, the Pacific mocked them with its vastness. There was no land in sight. The Electra, a gleaming silver bird, was nothing more than a fragile vessel suspended between heaven and the abyss. Every mile forward was a gamble. Every minute passed with the terrifying awareness that a single mistake, a sudden storm, or a miscalculation could end everything. The hours dragged. Amelia's hands ached from gripping the controls. Fred's eyes burned from constant calculations. The sun beat down relentlessly, and yet night would come soon, bringing darkness and cold over the endless sea. They were alone, totally alone. The world seemed a million miles away, and the Electra felt like a paper boat on a storm-tossed ocean. Suddenly, a flicker of hope, a glint far in the distance, almost imperceptible against the horizon. Amelia squinted, heart hammering. Could it be Howland? She leaned forward, tension coiling tight like a spring inside her chest. The Electra shuddered violently as a sudden gust of wind struck from the side. The horizon wavered like a mirage. For a split second, fear clawed at her. Fred, there, maybe, she whispered, almost to herself. Fred's eyes followed hers, the faint glimmer of the island, or perhaps a wave dancing in the sun's reflection. Hold steady, he said, voice calm but taut. We can make it. We have to. Minutes stretched like hours. Amelia adjusted the controls, every movement measured, precise. Below, the ocean reflected both light and danger. Above, the clouds thickened, hinting at storms. The radio crackled again, faint, almost ghostly. Are you on course? Over. And then, silence. The Electra moved forward, slicing through the Pacific, alone against the vastness. The horizon offered no answers. The island remained hidden, elusive, taunting them. Every second felt like a lifetime. Every mile forward was a test of courage, skill, and fate. The Electra, Amelia, and Fred were now suspended in a moment that history would never forget. The Pacific was no longer just water. It was a living entity, indifferent, merciless, and infinite. Somewhere ahead lay hope, danger, survival, or oblivion. And the world waited, holding its breath, unaware that the greatest mystery of the century was unfolding. Mile by mile, wave by wave, second by second, the Electra moved forward, a silver streak over the vast, merciless Pacific. Hours passed. Amelia's eyes scanned the horizon tirelessly. Every wave shimmered deceptively. Every gust of wind could tilt the plane. Every cloud could hide danger. The island, their only hope, remained invisible, swallowed by the endless blue. Fuel dwindled. Every mile became a gamble. Every breath felt heavier, charged with the tension of survival. Fred, I don't see it, Amelia whispered, a tremor hiding beneath her calm tone. Fred adjusted the instruments, jaw tight. We're still on course. We just have to keep looking. But the ocean was a master of illusion. Shadows played tricks on their eyes. The horizon wavered, sunlight reflecting off waves that seemed to stretch forever. The Electra shuddered as wind currents shifted violently. Amelia gripped the controls so tightly that her knuckles whitened. The world felt impossibly large, their plane impossibly small. Then came the last faint radio transmissions, fragments of words, broken by static. Running on line north and south, approaching, unknown, fuel low. And then silence. The Electra had vanished. Rescue crews scrambled. Planes combed the skies. Ships scoured the waters, eyes searching desperately for any sign of the silver bird. But the Pacific gave nothing. No wreckage, no signal, no footprint. Amelia Earhart and Fred Noonan had disappeared, leaving the world with only questions and rumors. Whispers spread immediately. Some claimed the plane had simply crashed into the deep. Others believed they had managed a miraculous landing on a remote island near Kumaro, a speck of land so isolated it might as well have been another world. Could Amelia and Fred have survived? If so, for how long? Survivors would have faced scorching heat, isolation, hunger, and waves breaking endlessly on the shores. Pieces of evidence trickled in over the decades: human bones, fragments of clothing, small items that might have belonged to the Electra. Every discovery ignited hope, then faded as inconclusive results crushed it. And yet, the story refused to die. Some dared to imagine darker fates. Could Amelia have been captured by unknown forces? Was there espionage, a secret mission gone wrong? Others speculated she had been hiding, intentionally or accidentally, on some distant shore, perhaps observing the world she once defied. No theory could be confirmed, and every speculation added another layer to the legend. And the legend grew. Amelia was no longer simply a pilot. She had become a symbol of daring, courage, and relentless pursuit of the impossible. Even decades later, explorers scoured islands, sonar scanned ocean floors, and adventurers traced flight paths across maps, seeking answers that remained tantalizingly out of reach. Yet, the more the world searched, the deeper the mystery became. Amelia Earhart, the woman who had defied gravity, the skies, and societal limits, had vanished. The Electra might have sunk beneath the waves, but Amelia's spirit remained alive. Every gust of wind, every glint of sunlight on the ocean, every shadow on the horizon whispered her name. She had become eternal, a ghost in the sky, a legend in the hearts of dreamers, a mystery that refuses to fade. And as the sun set over the Pacific, casting golden light across waves that stretched to infinity, the question lingered: where did Amelia go? The world may never know. But the fear, the hope, and the unrelenting thrill of her story continue to grip humanity, inviting each new generation to chase the unknown, just as she did. Amelia Earhart, The Vanishing Sky Queen, Part 4. The search and the mystery deepens. As news of Amelia Earhart's disappearance spread, the world was stunned. Newspapers screamed headlines, "The Sky Queen is missing." Planes were dispatched, ships were sent, and teams scoured thousands of miles of endless blue, ice straining against the sun's glare and the vast, unforgiving sea. Every search mission carried the same hope and the same fear. The Pacific was merciless. Waves stretched endlessly, glittering deceptively under the sun. Clouds rolled like silent predators. Every moment spent searching felt like grasping at ghosts. Pilots peered through binoculars, hoping to spot a glint of silver, a shadow of a wing, anything that might be Amelia or the Electra. Ships combed islands, coral reefs, and remote atolls, but the ocean swallowed all traces, leaving only whispers of her flight. Then came Nikumaroro, a tiny, remote island, almost invisible even on maps. Explorers imagined Amelia and Fred struggling on its shores, scavenging coconuts, drinking from scarce fresh water, building makeshift shelters against wind and rain. Could two human beings survive days, weeks, or even months on such a barren island? Reports of bones, clothing fragments, and strange artifacts fueled the hope that perhaps the legend had not ended in the ocean. Every discovery became a spark of excitement, quickly followed by frustration. Bones found could not be definitively identified. Fabric might have been from another traveler. Artifacts teased the imagination, but refused confirmation. And yet, each clue added weight to the possibility that Amelia and Fred had battled the Pacific and survived. If only for a time. Meanwhile, darker whispers circulated. Could Amelia have been captured? Could there have been secret missions, espionage, or government involvement that explained her disappearance? Some claimed sightings of her in distant lands. Others told of coded messages intercepted on radio waves, and still more spun elaborate conspiracies. No evidence could confirm these, yet the mere thought of hidden truths intensified the story's grip on the imagination. Even in absence, Amelia's legend grew. Women around the world looked to her as a symbol of courage. Dreamers saw her as proof that limits were illusions, that the impossible could be challenged. Each expedition to Nikumaroro, each sonar scan of the ocean floor, became part of her story, a story that refused to end. Time passed, generations came and went, but Amelia Earhart's presence never faded. The ocean may have claimed her plane, the world may never know exactly what happened, but her courage, daring, and the relentless chase of the horizon remained immortal. Every gust of wind, every sunset over the Pacific, every shadow on a distant island whispered her name. And the question endures, where did she go? The Electra may lie in the ocean depths, or footprints may remain hidden on a remote island. Yet Amelia Earhart herself lives in the hearts of all who look up at the sky and feel the pull of adventure. The story is unfinished, eternal, and impossible to forget. Decades passed, the Pacific, vast and indifferent, held its secrets tight. Explorers came and went, ships cut through the waves, and sonar scans probed the deep, yet the Electra remained elusive. The world searched, speculated, and debated, but Amelia Earhart herself became something more than a pilot. She became legend incarnate. Nikumaroro remained a silent witness. Coconut palms swayed under the wind. Coral reefs glistened in the sunlight. Perhaps she and Fred had set foot on its sands, struggling, surviving, watching the horizon for rescue that never came. Perhaps they had drifted into oblivion. No one knows. And yet, the thought of survival against all odds, of human courage battling the merciless ocean, captured imaginations everywhere. Amelia's story transcended history. She became a symbol of audacity, of courage that refuses limits, of a dream chased no matter the cost. Women across the globe saw her as proof that boundaries could be shattered. Aviators remembered her daring, Explorers felt her ghost in every gust of wind over uncharted lands. The disappearance that once sparked panic had now become inspiration. Every radio crackle, every fragment of evidence, every unconfirmed rumor became part of her mystique. Governments denied, historians argued, but the world agreed. Amelia Earhart's spirit could not be confined to maps or timelines. She soared higher than any record could measure, and even now, her flight continues in memory, imagination, and in the hearts of those daring enough to chase the unknown. And then there are the nights when the ocean is calm and the moonlight glimmers on the waves. Sailors whisper about a silver plane far on the horizon, cutting silently across the water, carrying a woman who refuses to be forgotten. Dreamers look up at the sky and feel her presence in every cloud, in every shadow, in every whisper of the wind. The Electra may rest somewhere in the deep. Nikumaro may conceal traces of its passengers. The Pacific may never reveal its truth. But Amelia Earhart lives in every heartbeat of adventure, every story of courage, every human soul daring to defy the impossible. And that is why, nearly a century later, her name still sends shivers down spines, sparks wonder in eyes, and ignites the eternal question, where did she go? The answer may never come, the Electra may never be found. And yet, Amelia Earhart is not lost. She is immortal in legend, in history, in imagination, and in the hearts of all who look to the sky and dream.